Last week, obviously, me and Shaker were talking about Star Wars, but we're back to the proper stuff now. You know, mine and Ash's bread and butter, which is DC and Marvel, and we got a special for you guys to end off the year. Which is talking about all of the comic book films in superhero films in 2018. We're going to be going through them kind of date by date, talking about what we're, what are our most anticipated films, what we're kind of looking forward to, what we're not looking forward to, and we're just going to go from there pretty much, man. So, guys, before we kind of go through each film individually, do you have any kind of standouts that you're looking forward to? What are you saying, Ash? Do I even need to ask you this, Ash?
Just skip over me. Everybody knows what I want.
You're looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Is that what you're looking forward to?
It's October 5th, bro. Venom. What are you talking about?
Venom is actually no. It's the animated Spider-Man that you're looking forward to.
Oh yeah, that I forgot about that. Sorry.
That is the one. What are you looking forward to most next year, Shaker, man?
Oh, there's quite a lot, because when I came up, when I kind of sat down and looked at this list, I was like, there's loads of stuff. I would say probably Venom and Deadpool 2, and then obviously Aquaman.
Yeah, I'd say in live action, I'm cautiously anticipating Venom, because I almost every Tom Hardy thing that I've seen him in has been decent, and he can't stop the.
What about that love rom-com thing you did?
That rom-com thing. Do you reckon Venom's gonna be a rom-com? I hope not, man.
No. I saw some of that footage where he's kind of walking and he's kind of he's getting out of a taxi or something, and he's walking all funny. And I think the suit is kind of controlling him or something. It looks a bit silly, but
yeah. I guess obviously when he's kind of like covered in the symbiote, I guess it's going to look quite different. I mean, but also we got some animated stuff coming as well, man. And for me, it's more about the animated stuff that is coming next year. Being a DC guy. And we'll get more into that there in a mo. So, unfortunately, guys, we have to start off the year with some Marvel, right?
Boys, before we get into it, is next year the most comic book film filled year so far?
Probably, yeah.
7, 8, 9.
We've never had this many.
10. So we got 10. We got 10 features. We got 10 features plus multiple animateds. Right, because I know Marvel have got a couple of animated there as well, with that Squirrel Girl animated film as well. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 animated DC Warner Brother films as well coming out next year.
I think we're reaching the peak of this mountain, man. I wouldn't get any more in.
There's literally no more that you can kind of fit in there, and let's when we're talking about that as well, you've got all this other stuff, like you got flipping Han Solo in there, and you've got all these
nobody's gonna watch that.
Nobody's gonna watch that.
That's gonna be pushed back. I'm telling you, that looks like a shambles.
They've got all these other kind of films that are gonna kind of slot in there. It is jam packed, man. But actually, I mean, when we start off the year, there is actually a Marvel film that I'm actually kind of looking forward to, which is unusual for me for Marvel films. But we'll start off the year in February, which is February the 16th, with Black Panther, right? So. We've already seen 2 trailers there already. Second one, some of the CGI looked a bit ropey, but some of the stuff that we've kind of seen there before. But let's just start off with you, bro. What are you saying about Black Panther, man?
To be honest, I'm really looking forward to this. Since I've got my Marvel Unlimited sorted, I've literally just been reading Black Panther comics every day for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually looking forward to this film. To me, it's going to have that Marvel factor in it, but I think it's going to be different. It looks like a superhero, spy, political, the whole thing rolled in. Something we haven't seen so far.
Do you think they're going to let Coogler do his own thing in this, or do you think they're gonna put their kind of hands on his shoulder and say, mate?
Yeah, that's how Marvel will never let any one of them run free. there's always going to be the hand on the shoulder. He's going to have his accents on the film and what he kind of overall wants in the film, but never anything goes past it without the big machine at the top giving the green light.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I don't know, but that's the way I think. That's how they've built this universe.
Yeah, I mean, Shaker, what are you thinking about Black Panther, man?
Well, I'm going to surprise you all. I'm looking forward to this one because,
Yes.
yeah,
That's shocking.
That's shocking. Yeah.
Because if you look at it, it's like you've got Ryan Coogler. I did like his the movies he's done before, like what was Rocky film, Creed.
Yeah, Creed. Yeah.
Fruitvale Station, and the thing is, he's doing the writing. He's done the screenplay, and the other person who's done the screenplay with him is Joe Robert Cole, and he's also done. He's not a Marvel person. He does kind of usual writing jobs for TV shows, American Crime Story, things like that. So I'm looking. It looks like it's going to be like from the trailers. It doesn't look as jokey and stupid as the previous Marvel films that I've been kind of avoiding. I saw the trailer. The cast looks good. Chadwick Boseman. Everything I've seen from him, he doesn't kind of. He doesn't give off that kind of vibe where it's like, oh look, it's all about me in this movie, and look at me and I'm being witty and doing stupid things. It looks like he's going to play it very kind of serious. So
Yeah.
I kind of like the look of that. Yeah.
That's how Black Panther actually is. He's actually quite a non-jokey type of king, regional tribe leader. So it wouldn't lend to him to be, quippy and stuff like that, to be fair.
I'm looking forward to Andy Serkis as like one of the villains. So
yes.
I look forward to that.
Andy Serkis needs to get an Oscar for something, man. I mean, he's just like, every performance that he does is just brilliant.
10%. He goes all into his performances.
I mean, if he doesn't at least get it for Apes, he just, or even like, whatever you say about Last Jedi, man, his performance as Snoke has been, amazing performance, man. He's a great actor, seriously, and he has been overlooked big time. I'm just hoping that he does get some kind of reward there at some point, man. I mean, I'm also looking forward to the Black Panther just because I can kind of see like basically the way that they're trying to treat this property is that me and Ash often talk about political situations and stuff like that, and given the kind of way that people are there at the moment and the politics of today, man, you can't make this kind of jokey and taking the mick out of like a black African nation, you know what I mean? It's just like,
albeit a fictitious one, but still
it's fictitious, but it's like, it's going to be like, if you suddenly take the mick out of it and go like, oh look, this is so silly, this is a joke, yeah, people are going to be like, they're going to be like up in arms, man. So that actually helps a lot, because then it means that you can make a much more kind of serious story, and it seems like it's going to be its own kind of thing, which is one thing that I've always been slightly concerned about with Marvel, is that they, towards the end of their films, they get quite concerned about linking it into something else. But with this, I'm hoping that they just keep it like a separate entity and then go from there. So
no matter which way you look at it, it's going to link to Infinity War. It's the last one they had before their big event. So either 90% of the film will be standalone. I've got a feeling you're going to see an Infinity Stone in there somewhere, whether it's the last 5% or not, and then you'll see Thanos coming down or something along those lines right at the end. I'll be shocked if it's completely standalone.
Yeah, because Thanos has been away from the place for God knows how long, you know what I mean? He just kind of, people obviously forgetting who this guy is, Do
you think
got off his chair 6 films ago? No one knows where he is.
Do you think the kind of Infinity War related stuff will be in the post-credit scenes, or do you think they'll kind of work it into the actual film?
I think it'll be in the post-credit, I reckon.
I reckon 100% post-credit, and whether or not they subtle weave in an Infinity Stone somewhere where T'Challa gets his powers, or he's able to talk to the dead, where he goes into that realm, I forgot what it's called. So somewhere there, they'll subtly link it during the film, and then I think definitively the post-credit scene is going to be forward link.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have something in there towards the end or in the post-credit scene, something to do with Captain America and Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be like the link into the next kind of film, man. So I mean, let's go a bit further on down the line. Now we're going from February to April. Before we do that,
we've all kind of agreed that it's a good start to the year.
That is a good start. That is a good start to the year. And actually, before we go to April, just to kind of a couple of mentions, man. Obviously these are not coming out in the cinema, but there are two feature-length animations that are coming out in February, end of February, start of March there as well. One of them, which is Batman Ninja, which we've all seen the trailer for. Man, I'm looking forward to that like anything. And also Batman Gotham by Gaslight, which, you know, the one of the things that I love about the animations is that they can take certain risks with them that they can never take in the feature film. So, you know, you can make it like, you know, like obviously Gotham by Gaslight is about, you know, Jack the Ripper. It's meant to be about murders and stuff like that. They're never going to put that in the main kind of universe films, but they can do that in these kind of these other films. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing how far they get into that, because the animated stuff, they've never kind of shirked away from it. Do you guys have any thoughts about the animated Batman films that are coming out?
Yeah, Batman Ninja definitely. Just kind of from the designs of their kind of armor and the kind of vehicles they're going to be using, it looks like kind of a bit Mad Max-ish and kind of feudal Japan. So, yeah, I love the trailer, so I'm looking forward to that.
No way, I'm not gonna watch those two films. Of the two, I would say Gotham by Gaslight for me is slightly more piquing my interest. I've never really gotten into anime. I mean, I don't have anything against it, but it's just not something that's really
I think that's
exciting.
the thing, man. It's very anime style. So if you don't really like that, it doesn't really appeal. But just for the difference, it kind of appeals there to me. So let's kind of go a little bit more forwards. Now we're looking into Easter time, going back to Fox, which I guess is now Fox Disney kind of thing. New Mutants, right?
It's 100% Fox, mate. Disney cannot.
100% Fox. Now the thing is this movie going to come out and basically just going to have jokes all the way through? Reshoots galore, because this film really interested me, man. This looked like a horror, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, are they actually going to go down this route? I kind of really like the way that Fox are going down and taking these kind of things, because, you know we kind of like to sugarcoat it and say, you know, if there were people who are mutants, we'd all be like happy with them. You know, we'd all be like, we'd all be like loving it. You know, the way that they portrayed kind of Superman in Justice League, it'd all be like that kind of thing, right? But really, in reality, man, if there were people who started developing these powers, the first response that everybody would have is fear, right? And it would just be like, let's lock these kind of guys away and let's put them in this kind of thing, experiment on them. And that really kind of piqued my interest. What did you guys think about New Mutants, man?
I mean, that's what the Fantastic Four movie was supposed to be, you know, the what you just described there. But because that's it's a 2-month break between Black Panther and New Mutants, so I guess people will be eager to see some kind of comic book film when New Mutants comes around. I thought the trailer was good. I just hope they don't go into this kind of teen horror slasher, kind of low budget kind of thing. I hope there is that kind of the added layer of X-Men, mutants, powers. I hope they still kind of keep that intact as well.
I like the trailer. I feel like this could be something very different to what we've seen before, as per Black Panther as well. So this will be the second film of the year, which I feel is going to be different to anything else we've seen. But again, as per Shaker, I really hope if they're going to go down this horror route, it's going to be substantial. They'll have the backing, and they'll kind of, rather than 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I'd rather they just go 2 feet in. And I feel like Fox maybe finding their groove just before they kind of got sold.
Yeah, it's kind of I'm just hoping they just keep that arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult, right? Because now it's like, okay, we've got the X-Men. They're going to be desperate to put the X-Men into the main Marvel universe, but at the same time, the X-Men is kind of like an in-between kind of thing. You know, you've got it's not too jokey, not too serious, and then you can then take a little leap and then make things like New Mutants. The leap between New Mutants and say something like, you know, Avengers Age of Ultron and the general MCU is so big that if they then started to make the X-Men films more like the MCU, it'll be very difficult for them to step to this kind of New Mutants, you know, kind of risky strategy, I think.
I'll reserve my judgment until I've actually seen what New Mutant looks like.
Yes.
We all know that trailers can be so deceiving, man.
That is true, man. So
they've got plenty of time to do another trailer. I think they'll definitely show a little bit more of the story in the next one, maybe a bit more of their powers. So I'm looking forward to that.
So far, 2018 first two films, we're all looking forward to them.
Yeah, basically. And then there's something out in May, but we'll skip that, right? And then we'll go to some low budget about some guy who basically has been sitting in a chair.
Yeah,
he's been sitting in a chair for God knows how many years, man.
The question he finally gets up, gets lost, man, for directions. I think he arrives on May 4th.
Is he actually going to stand up in this movie? That is the thing, man. That is the thing. It's like basically like
he lost his uniform.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did, man. And he lost his helmet. I want to know, that's my main thing. What has happened to his helmet? That's the only reason why I'm going to watch that film, because I need to find out and see what happened. So, guys, we're talking about May the 4th, Avengers Infinity War. Used to be part 1.
A little earlier for us in the UK, though.
Is it earlier for us?
April. I think we get it in April sometime.
So, so obviously we're getting this in April kind of thing. So, I mean, Ash, man, you know, we talked about this to death, man.
Listen, between the three of us, it's only me who's going to see this film.
Mate, you know what? Okay, I'll tell you what, right? Okay, I know I cuss Marvel on the podcast and stuff like that, but I'm gonna see this film. You know, I told you, man. I told you we're gonna go and see this. We're gonna go, and I'm going to I'm gonna enjoy this. Remember Avengers Age of Ultron, right? You remember that the trailer was like in there, and then what
I'm saying, because trailers are deceiving me.
Yeah. So you remember the Avengers Age of Ultron was the darkest. It was such a dark trailer. I mean, silly James Spader, obviously, right? But it was quite a dark trailer and stuff like that. And then the film came and I was like, what is going on here, man? Just pure like jokey and stuff like that. So, I mean, I know you're looking forward to it like crazy, bro. So, you know, you've got to make sure, you know, don't go and do any like, you know, extreme sports or anything like
I got to try to stay alive.
You got to stay alive until that.
10 years in the making, mate.
Exactly. And I know this is Shaker's most anticipated film of the year as well.
Well, I'll say this: every film that we're going to talk about on this list for next year's films, I am actually going to watch, except Ant-Man and the Wasp. There you go.
Oh, so you know what?
Fair enough.
But let me just say about Avengers Infinity War, the trailer, I was kind of like, it's okay. I'm looking forward to seeing like some of the newer characters, like Thanos and his, what was his people called?
Black Order.
The Black Order, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's just I know what to expect from Marvel films, so I'm kind of like, I'll probably go into this the same way I felt going into Civil War. I was like, let's watch this and get it out the way. So that's me personally, but
to be honest, bro, like there's going to be a lot of, in terms of cinematic stuff, quite a lot of new ground broken here, because Thanos has been built up. There's not that I can think of top of my head where there's even been a trilogy or maybe more than a trilogy that's built up to a certain character, and then on top of that you're going to see. I just want to see how they're going to put these characters together on the screen. You've only got 2 hours. How are you even going to let's see how they do it. That's what I want to see more than anything else.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is one of the things that kind of annoys me a little bit about Marvel is that basically the actors they just keep like tweeting stuff and things like that about how like or how contracts have bang signed for the next one and stuff. And I'm just like, mate, we now know you're not going to die in this one. Yeah, so why even saying it? It's like a spoiler, basically. Like, let's go on to the next one, which is an interesting.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Before you jump to the next one,
yeah,
do you boys think New Mutants, as new and different as it's going to be, is going to suffer because literally 2 weeks later you got Infinity War, which I would say the general audience is.
I think, is it targeting a different audience? That's the thing. I mean, Avengers Infinity War is going to be targeting pretty much all of the people who, who have watched all the Marvel films there before. They're going to have all the. I can guarantee you go to the Disney store, man, for a month before and 6 months afterwards. There's going to be Thanos toys everywhere. It's going to be just pure, Thanos outfits, everything. It's just going to be completely like covered with that. So I think they're targeting a slightly different audience, and they're kind of.
But they're still comic. I would say the people who are going to go and see New Mutants, some of them won't. Okay, fair enough. Let's say 30% of them won't have any interest in comic books, whatever. They'll go for that horror look, feel. What do we do today? Let's go to cinema. What's on? Oh, that New Mutant looks all right. But the other 70%, bro, they're comic book people. And people with limited budgets.
And I think that links into what we were saying a few weeks ago. When you said that basically there was something that came out that said that American families, they watch 3 films a year on average, right?
That's their budget.
So their budget is to see 3 films, right? And when you're looking at this list and you're thinking 3 films, right? Are they going to go to New Mutants? Probably not, if they're already going to Black Panther and Infinity War.
They're too close together, man. It's crazy how this year's set out.
Yeah, I think I'm wondering whether there's something that is coming out in March. I don't know if there's any big films that are coming out in March that they're trying to avoid. And I'm thinking they could come, because sometimes, even though they are close, it's actually beneficial for them, because actually what they do is that they tag on to the other film. So it's like, I don't, like Pitch Perfect, right? Pitch Perfect comes out always around the same time that Star Wars comes out, because they know there's some people who don't want to go and watch Star Wars and they'll go and watch that film there instead. It's like the alternate kind of thing.
Basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like the alternate, right? So I think New Mutants is kind of like the same way. They've got the alternate, and it's going to be, the alternative there. So I'm just having a look at March 2018 movies. Let me just have a look and see what is there. So we've got Red Sparrow, A Wrinkle in Time, Tomb Raider, Pacific Rim, Ready Player One. Okay, so that's what they're trying to avoid. Dangerous. That's what they're trying to avoid, right? They're trying to avoid Ready Player One. So that's obviously the reason why they're kind of doing it.
I was thinking that maybe you've got Star Wars. Usually they have Star Wars Celebration around May the 4th, but that's not happening next year. They're going to skip 2018, so I guess that kind of helps Avengers Infinity War quite a bit. Yeah. So when we look on a bit further on between that, there's a similar issue that's going on after that. Whether or not this Han Solo film is going to come out or not, we haven't even seen a trailer yet. And it's 5 months away. We've already seen a Deadpool 2 kind of teaser, but Deadpool 2
2 teasers for the next Deadpool.
Yeah, so Deadpool 2 we've seen obviously the first kind of teaser and the other one, the painting one. So you guys looking forward to Deadpool 2?
Yeah, the trailer was quite short, and it was more of a kind of a parody of a trailer. Yeah, so I guess you're still waiting for the first proper one, but I'm excited. I'm interested to see where they take it. They've got Cable, they've got Domino. We'll see where it goes with this.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing about Deadpool 2 is it seems to be a bit more immune to when other films are coming out around it, because obviously it's that R-rated, which was Deadpool 1 a 15 or was it an 18 here?
I think
I can't.
15.
I think it's a 15, right?
Yeah.
So because R is equivalent to a 15, isn't it? So basically, you're in that 15 kind of market. That excludes a lot of the children who are going to go and watch these other comic book films, and just the way that it's styled, kind of, seems to be that they're targeting that more adult audience. So I expect kind of more of the same, in this film. More kind of the kind of crass jokes and stuff like that. Deadpool 1, to me, I'm not actually looking that forward to Deadpool 2, because I kind of, my humor is not like Deadpool kind of thing. I watched Deadpool 1, and after 45 minutes, I was probably like, oh God, just hearing more and more of these jokes, I just kind of had enough of it pretty much. But I understand that if you like that kind of humor, it's my fault because I don't like that kind of humor. It's not that the film is bad or anything like that. But if you like that kind of thing, I expect you're going to see more of the same. Do you think that Disney are now going to say, let's get Tom Holland to turn up at the end or something like that here?
No. I think for now, I don't think Disney's going to mess about with any of the films just now. I think that'll start happening maybe next year onwards.
But don't forget, it's still going to take 12 months minimum for them to confirm everything. So all of these Fox properties are not going to be touched.
Yeah.
They are going to come out as scheduled, as per whatever the director wanted. It's after that, like Shaker said, next year things might get shaken up.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we look at once again, just go through the other kind of films that are coming out in June. So you've got a week later is Ocean's 8. And then a week after that is The Incredibles 2, which we'll be talking about there in a second. And then Jurassic World after that.
June, Jurassic World?
Yeah, that is June the 22nd. And then we've got the big one, June 29th, is Sicario. So there are a lot of this is like an adult month kind of thing, apart from Incredibles.
Apart from Jurassic World, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's kiddies, but if you see that new trailer, I wouldn't take my daughter to see that. She's 6 years old kid. I wouldn't take her to see that. She'd probably cry her eyes out. But no, seriously, man, that's quite scary for a little kid, I think. But we're yet to see. So if we talk about the other kind of film in June, not quite DC and Marvel, but the reason why it's interesting to talk about is that quite often when people talk about, oh, we haven't seen a proper, quote unquote, Fantastic Four movie yet.
Yeah,
then people
reference Incredibles, don't they? Yeah,
they're like, actually we have, it's Incredibles, right? So we've got Incredibles 2, which is a long-awaited kind of thing. Is Incredibles is what? Is that Pixar? Is it? Or is that
Pixar Disney? Is it?
Okay, so that's goodness me. So we got Disney coming in again. Disney gonna make a lot of money next year, man.
Incredibles 2 will tie up all these kiddies.
How
old is Incredibles 1? I don't know. How old would those kids be now? Are they still the ones who are going to go and watch this?
I think Incredibles 2 is just one of those things, kind of like, Cars and these kind of things, where it's just like the film to watch at that time. And what they do is they tie it into when, when the kids are on holidays and stuff like that. So it comes out during that week. So that's, I guess, what they're going to do is going to come out in that time, and basically they're going to clear up with that kind of audience. So, I mean, are you guys looking towards Incredibles 2, or are you just going to kind of catch it on DVD? Or
for me, it's a no. I'm not interested in this film, to be fair.
Yeah, I've not got any kind of I'm not kind of big, huge fan of the first Incredibles, so I think it kind of, I heard about it after it kind of was released and people loving it, so I don't know, but I mean, it'll make the money because obviously it's targeted for the younger audience, so it's definitely going to be huge. It's not affected by Jurassic World, I don't think, so the Incredibles 2 will be fine. I mean, Deadpool 2 or like early in June, that's fine because that's a more targeted for the adults. That's fine for that. That'll make the money it needs to make. Then you've got towards the end of the month, Sicario 2. Was the first Sicario kind of did it make that much money? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
No, I think it was more kind of like it was like a liked film. It's kind of like what do you call it? Mad Max. You know, the new Mad Max. I mean, that didn't actually really make that much money, but it was universally kind of praised. I think Sicario is the same kind of way, and I guess because the budget is not, apart from obviously the budget for the actors, the actual budget for it is not that huge. So they can kind of just like bring these films out, and it's a bit like a you know, Hell or High Water. They just need a good storyline. They can bring it out, and it's, you know, it's there and it's done, you know, because it looks a lot like a TV show, like a high budget TV show, you know, with obviously better cinematography and stuff like that. So the budget can't really be that huge. We're looking at summer, right? So we've gone now to July, right? And the main MCU one is Ant-Man and the Wasp, which me and Ash talked about a few weeks ago, and I asked him to sell it to me, and I still was not convinced, man, because I was like, Ash, bro, sell me this film, yeah, because I'm not interested in this whatsoever.
Wait, this film will make money based on the fenced off audience that already the MCU has for itself, because it's a continuation story. And apparently they're going to introduce these multiverses and nanoverses and stuff like that, which will allegedly tie into the next Avengers film. And this will be a direct spin-off. Like, this is happening. I don't know what the timeline is going to be, but clearly it's happening between Avengers 3 and 4. So whether it's all going to be a continuous story or not, who knows how it's going to work. But there will be consequences from this film. And so I think this film is targeted to their pre-made audience. I don't think they're expecting this film to do high numbers, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, after Black Panther and Infinity War, I think it'll be kind of back to normal cringe comedy with Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that's why I'm going to skip it. I have no interest in this one, so.
That leaves you, bro.
That leaves me, yeah. So I will catch it on. Are you going to buy this on Blu-ray?
Not for me, no.
Okay, if somebody buys it on Blu-ray and they send me the link, I'll watch it. Right? Seriously, man. Okay, look, now I'm looking at July. Okay, and you know, I've got my 3 films of the year that I've got to watch. Right.
At the end of this, we've got 3 films we've got to
watch. We got 3 films we've got to watch. So I'm looking at July, and we've got the Purge 4. Purge 4, man.
I haven't been keeping up with that franchise, man. I watched the first 2.
Purge 2 was pretty good. It just kind of...
It was, yeah.
It was all right, yeah. I mean, the third one I haven't even seen, to be fair, so...
Yeah, so we got that.
Crap.
Then we got Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then we got your favourite actor in the world, Dwayne Johnson, in Skyscraper in the week after. Then we got Alita Battle Angel, which I'm not sure about, but we'll have a look, see. And then, if I'm only watching one film in July, it's the infamous Tash of Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible.
Does that come out in July?
I have to see this Tash, right? Because this Tash has caused me no end of grief, man, towards the end of this year. So I'm going for this Tash. I'm gonna go and look at this Tash, and that is pretty much it. That's the only reason why I'm going, man. But also, on the same day, we're talking about kids. Teen Titans Go to the movies, right?
What?
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
So Teen Titans Go is a cartoon of Teen Titans on Cartoon Network, and it's very for little kids, like, you know.
Oh, I know what that is.
They've got
a feature-length film.
There's a feature-length film of that is coming out, and it's like, you know, it's like for 6 to 10-year-olds or so. That is coming out the same time as Mission Impossible. So that's obviously going to sweep up a lot of the little kids.
Parents of kids. You're going to have to make a choice. You go to Mission Impossible, or you take your kids to Teen Titans Go.
No, they're looking at the Tash, man. That's all they've got to see that Tash. So,
we need to see that Tash with his performing its own stunts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he was saying. Yeah. So we've got to see that, and then basically, like, we have a bit of a gap there, man, because we've got August, which I'm looking at the list. It doesn't really seem to be anything that kind of steps out to me. I mean, there's the Predator, which I'm not sure about, and Scarface, I guess, and then basically
Scarface.
Is that still happening?
I don't even know if that's still happening. I mean, I've heard this kind of, and then we've got September. Let me see, is there anything in September? And there's nothing in September. I mean, September is like untitled New Line horror film. Okay, well, that could be anything. So then we're going into October, and the first week of October that we're looking at, this film, man, is one of those things that is like could be great,
Marmite,
or could be awful, right? Which is Venom. Tom Hardy, Riz Ahmed, Michelle Williams. We've seen a lot of stuff.
Woody Harrelson?
Possibly Woody Harrelson. We're seeing a lot of good things coming out about, Instagram things, tweeting stuff out, all the kind of right things that we're hearing. The only issue, obviously, that me and you have, Ash, and we've been having for a long time, is how do you have Venom without Spider-Man?
Yeah,
which is,
I don't know how this is going to work. Honestly, I'm going to watch this just to see what they do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if the first trailer's come out, second trailer comes out, third trailer comes out, it looks like utter garbage. Dutty, I need to watch this film.
yeah.
I just need to know how they're going to do it. Like, how
I want to see the first trailer that they do and just see how it comes out as, and just see, like, okay, if they're doing this, then, what is the, what's their kind of basis of the way that they're designing this film, man? Because if it is the way that it looks, that is like, oh, this is a horror, this is like a, really kind of, because they're saying that a lot of the fight things are going to be quite brutal. It's going to be like Venom is. Then, yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Especially if they have flipping Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, man.
That's going to be
if they had him as, I mean, I can't think of anyone more ideal to play a flipping, psycho crazy, serial killer than Woody Harrelson, and kind of pull that off. If they do have that, then yeah, I could be looking forward to this film. But it all kind of really depends on what we see from the trailer. It can't be worse than the Venom that we've seen already in Spider-Man 3. Nothing. What are you thinking about this, Shaker?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Tom Hardy doesn't really pick bad roles. Like, especially recently, he's been on fire when it comes to the movies he does. So I'm interested. Why did he take this? I think they're going to go with that kind of adult comedy, like Deadpool. So I think they're kind of aiming for that kind of audience. Just need to wait for the first trailer, and then we'll find out exactly what kind of tone they're going for.
Yeah, and I hope it is that kind of, that kind of horrorish kind of tone. So that's the October one, and then we go into November, and towards the end of the year, I mean, we've seen this kind of little. It's interesting because we used to have this thing where all the blockbusters used to come out in that summer months, that June, July, August, right?
August, yeah.
Now it's kind of like August is like the dump month, where they just want to dump something that isn't, they don't kind of, they're not kind of that happy with, but they just think, let's just get it out there or whatever. And now towards the end of the year, the stuff is getting crowded. So we're looking at November. We're looking at another Fox film, which is X-Men Dark Phoenix, right? Which I'm in two minds about, and I'll let you guys kind of go first, and then I'll give you my kind of thoughts about it. When I look around it, the stuff that is coming around, there's three other kind of big films that are coming out around it, which is Fantastic Beasts, Creed 2, and Wreck-It Ralph 2. Which are all the kind of big films that are coming out around there. So
there is another one that comes out on the same time as Dark Phoenix, and that's Disney's The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. So
Yes, and also an untitled Paramount film, which we don't know what that is at the moment. So, that apparently is one of their big franchises, which is...
No way they're going to push another Transformers out. But
Is that? I don't know. Bumblebee's not coming out this.
That they've been
Is a Bumblebee coming out this year, or is it next year?
I've got a list here. It says Bumblebee comes out December 21st with Aquaman.
So there's no way that October will be another.
So I don't know what that November is. Whether it is anything or not is the other thing. So
for me, listen, let me go first. Short and sweet. X-Men Dark Phoenix, no thank you. Next.
Why? Why is that?
No, mate. Did you watch the Apocalypse one they did?
Yeah, I did. So I mean, so is that it? You don't think they can bring it back to a better quality?
I'm done. That franchise needed to die. Finished.
Oh.
For me, done.
Yeah, go on, you go, Shaker.
I think they released a few photos recently. So yeah, James McAvoy's back. Michael Fassbender, I think, is coming back. I'm kind of interested in what role Jessica Chastain is going to be in. And they are going to go into space in this one, so we'll see how much of the movie is set in there. Even though Apocalypse, it was really kind of average, and I think they were going a lot for the jokes as well, like MCU does with the Nightcrawler scenes were a bit cringe, but I think they can bring it back to a better quality with Dark Phoenix.
I'm hoping so as well, but I've got to say I'm in Ash's boat with this one. Because we talked about for a long time, with my with Marvel, with me when I was a kid, my two Marvel favorite things were Hulk and the X-Men. I didn't really like any other Marvel characters, which is why I was always kind of been like a big DC fan, but those two were my two main things. So one of the biggest things that I was always looking forward to when X-Men came out was Apocalypse. And it was just like, me and one of my friends, we flipping love X-Men. We're just like, Apocalypse is coming. And then you're watching this film and there's like bits of makeup falling off his face and the guy's wearing platform shoes. And it just like, what have you done in this film? I mean, the storyline was okay, but I could never really look past that. I think one of the big problem that X-Men has, which is a huge issue, is that Jennifer Lawrence is basically taking too much of the shine off this film. She's playing a character. Yeah, she's playing a character who shouldn't be the leader, who is never been the leader, who's never been a good person, is always, the second in command to Magneto, right? She's not a major character, and when she is in it, she's always evil. But now she's like doing motivational speeches and all this kind of stuff, and basically like pretty much being a mentor to like the younger ones, and it just doesn't fit to me. It just seems like she shouldn't be so front and center, and because of that, it's always kind of, to me, I'm looking at it and thinking, because she's a big star, you're looking at that star power and thinking we've got to make her, at the front. And that, if they get away from that, and I think they have potential to get away from it because they've got Sophie Turner and because of the how big Game of Thrones is, they can put her at the front, which they need to with Dark Phoenix, then maybe they can get away from this kind of Mystique being the big character kind of thing, which I've never really liked. And that, for me, is, if I'm looking at the three films I'm going to be seeing at that time, I'd have to probably skip on that one, because when I'm looking at the other stuff that is out,
It's a busy month. We've got Nutcracker, Dark Phoenix, Dr. Zeus, Fantastic Beasts, Creed 2, Wreck-It Ralph 2. So it's going to be interesting who kind of comes out on top when it comes to the box office in that month. Yeah.
And then we go to another crowded month. Thank goodness there's no Star Wars films coming out because I need a break. I need a break from that flipping franchise. We've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which which I know Ash is looking forward to a lot, man.
I was until I saw the trailer, which kind of I don't know. Now, if I got, I'm looking at this list while you're talking, thinking I've got 3 films that I could watch. In real terms, I'm definitely going to watch Into the Spider-Verse because Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters, and I've read the Spider-Verse comic runs and stuff like that. So
what the Into the Spider-Verse is what? Is Miles Morales? Is Miles Morales or is it?
They're going to change it up. But I got a feeling it's Miles Morales is obviously Spider-Man. Peter's dead, and it's like a multiverse thing where she's going to be mentored by other Spider-Men, and you'll see like it's like a mishmash of things. Let's see, man. It's just going to be Spider-Man overload.
I don't know about this one, man.
When this drop? What's the date on it? December what?
This is December the 14th, right? Because I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking on the same day, right? You've got the, Wingnut Productions produced Mortal Engines coming out, right?
How good does that franchise do, though? I don't know how good that Mortal Engine thing is.
Well, the thing is, obviously, it's just starting now, right? But it's basically like, it's going to be a new trilogy or whatever, but
it's based on some books, right? Though
it's based on some books, yeah. But I mean, just looking at it, it looks like it's a huge event. You know what I mean? And
is this the trailer that came out the other day with a girl looking through the binoculars?
Yeah. And they're in a small kind of village kind of thing, and then London is coming to eat them up, as it were.
Because I thought it was going to be, I thought it was directed by Peter Jackson. It turns out he's only producing it. It's the guy who has worked with him for like art direction, special effects, all since the Brain Dead films, like the zombie film that he did, Peter Jackson. So this guy has been all on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Frighteners. This guy who's directing it has worked on all of these films, so it's going to be pretty special, and there is a fan base out there, so they're going to be excited for it.
So this is the new Harry Potter, Hunger Games, that sort of thing you're looking at?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
I mean, and also Spider-Man, the Into the Spider-Verse, it looks like there's going to be like 3 directors on it, so that's why it has this kind of different looks in the trailer, because some parts, the animation changes, the kind of look changes slightly. So that's what it is. It's got 3 directors.
So it's gonna be a bit like what was that, Batman Gotham Knight, where it's kind of like loads of little that could be interesting. Okay, I didn't know it was that.
But I don't think Sony's going to be pinning their hopes on this animated film running the box office. Because I don't know how much it's going to cost them to produce this thing, but there's no way. I mean, you look at that. You guys are talking about these epic blockbusters coming out. There's no way they're stacking it against any of those.
I think
this is again built for a niche audience.
Yeah, I think Sony is setting Venom is their main one that they're looking forward to, because that is basically going to be, if we can get Venom, then we've got Sinister Six, etc., etc. And like me and you were talking about there before, I think that might be Sony's template. They might be looking and saying, okay, well, Marvel have done this thing. They've made all these individual films for their heroes, and then they all team up and they basically go and they fight against, the biggest villain or whatever. We're going to do villain films and they're all going to team up and then, go against whatever kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I'm kind of thinking when it comes to Sony. But also, the other thing that we talked about there before is that when is that Spider-Man game coming out?
Sure.
It must be the first half of 2018, I think.
So, because I'm thinking, we're saying there before, like we were looking at the kind of amount of money that these games make and stuff, and basically,
you opened my eyes. I never realized games make that kind of money, man.
Yeah, I mean, even something like Call of Duty, 1.2 billion. Some of these other ones are like 1.5 billion that they're making, right? I'm just thinking, as Sony thinking forwards and looking at this and saying, right, okay, this is something that we're going to use there, and then have as DLC characters there later on as soon as they come out. I know I know as soon as Justice League came out, people were like, right, we want to get those characters in DLC for Injustice. Even though the film wasn't that great, they were just like, yeah, we want those characters. I'm thinking Sony is thinking the same thing, and it could be just a 90-minute advert for their DLCs, which they'll make like a ton of money on. So we go like a week later, we're getting right towards the end of the year here, right? And we've got Friday, December the 21st, we've got Bumblebee and Aquaman coming out at the same time. So the photos that have been coming out from that, I've liked all the ones, like the mirror costume, I think is perfect. The Aquaman stuff, he looks really like beefed up and angry. I'm hoping, they just let James Wan do his thing and just say, mate, just get on with it, rather than chopping it up and stuff like that, like they seem to like to do at Warner Brothers. If they do that, then I've got a lot of hope for this film, and I'm looking quite forward to it. If they don't, and they decide, oh, let's add our little crap in there, then it will just kind of ruin it for me. What are you guys thinking about Aquaman?
For me, it's a yes. I want to see this. It's DC's only cinematic offering the whole year. I'm actually looking forward to this. He wasn't the most standout character in JL for me, but I still want to see this. I feel like they are going to give James Wan a bit of a free run, a little bit, based on the fact that everything else has been a shambles. Maybe they're like, okay. And just because of the things that James Wan's been saying, in his film, there's no air bubbles. He did come out and say there's no 3 villains. He wants that it's going to be quality over quantity. I think it's going to be surprisingly good.
Yeah,
for me.
He did say, I think it's, he said Ocean Master, which is Patrick Wilson, is going to be the main villain. So, Aquaman, if they are going to, everything I've heard about the film is like, it's a kind of classic action adventure, kind of Hollywood stuff. And then because it is the only DC film that's coming out next year, the fans are going to be like really hyped for it. They're going to be anticipating it. Bumblebee is kind of interesting because even though it is people are going to say, oh, it's another Transformers film. If they come out and it's a kind of different kind of approach and they get to do something different, then Aquaman's going to have some kind of competition. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen there.
See, I don't agree with you, Shaker. I think you're absolutely right on Aquaman. So the DC fans got nothing all year. So they're banking on this. Aquaman is going to bank all their dollars. And Bumblebee, I think, is dead in the water, man. After that last... I don't know if any of you lot saw that last Transformers. It's hilarious. Like, yeah. I don't know how anybody can make another Transformers.
But has Bumblebee's got John Cena in it, isn't it? I think it's John Cena in it.
I'm not sure, man. I don't know.
I think I heard it was. I
think he's in. Okay, you can't underestimate how many fans these WWE guys have. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
it's got Haley Steinfeld, who was in Split, and yeah, WWE, they do hype up any film that their wrestler is in.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be all over their shows and stuff.
Blatantly. So I think they're gonna really, really hype that up. So it's definitely gonna be a lot of.
It says here it's set in 1987.
Yes.
So it's gonna have that kind of retro kind of things to it.
Yeah, which they seem to want to like there at the moment. So that brings us towards basically at the end of the year, right? So let's talk about a couple of honorable mentions. Suicide Squad. Right, Suicide Squad animated film is coming out next year, which is
when does that drop?
It's not announced yet, the date, so it could be summer, it could be towards the end of the year, but that is that's basically gonna have the same crew that they had in the previous in the Assault on Arkham. So you've got King Shark, it's Deadshot, King Shark, Harley Quinn, and they basically went and fought against the Riddler. Joker's not really kind of part of it, but yeah, there's going to be a sequel to that is coming. If it follows, I really enjoyed Assault on Arkham, and I was really hoping that.
That was good.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Suicide Squad was the actual live film was gonna be very similar to it. So along that vein, I'm really looking forward to the second Suicide Squad film in that kind of bit. And the other one, which is an interesting one, is part one of the Death of Superman, which is we've already had an animated film, Superman Doomsday, which kind of is like the comic book, but glossed over a lot of that story there quite a bit. But now we're having the proper Death of Superman, which is interesting because I'm just wondering who kind of commissioned this, because we've now had, 3 Death of Superman stories shown in a very short period of time. We've had Superman Doomsday, then we have Batman v Superman, and now we have Death of Superman there coming afterwards. Well, an iconic comic book, but I can't help but think that this is another one of Warner Brothers saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like BVS, so here we go. This is actually what I wanted to do." Honestly, man, those guys just
here's a cartoon to help you feel better.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's just like I find it annoying because it's actually like they spend too much time listening to people who have no flipping clue about what they're talking about and contradict themselves all the time. These flipping bloggers and critics and stuff like that, and then react in that kind of way. And I'm thinking, is this a reaction there to it? So the previous Superman films, animated films, have been pretty rubbish, to be honest. So I'm hoping that this one could be decent. So that's an honourable mention.
I had no idea this was happening until you mentioned it. So I'm just having a look there, Death of Superman, and then it says it's followed up in 2019 with Reign of Superman. Or sorry,
yes.
Reign of the Supermen.
Yeah. So the Reign of the Supermen was the second comic when the 4 Supermen turned up. The Cyborg, Superman, Steel. That's obviously going to be split into the 2 parts, and I'm quite kind of looking forward to that if they do the animation in a similar way to the way that they've been doing it. But yeah, I can't help thinking that there was this other issue that they're trying to cover up. So when I look at, like, in conclusion, right, what are your guys' top 3 that you're looking forward to next year? Shaker, let's start off with you, man.
Top 3.
Are we doing, sorry, Shaker, 1 second. Are we doing just the comic book films, top 3?
Just the comic book films, man. Just the comic book films, yeah.
Right. So I would say Aquaman first. Second, Venom. And third would be Deadpool 2.
Oh, what are you saying, Ash?
Is it in order, yeah? Are we doing it in order?
Yeah. So what's your number 1 first? Well, go 3 to 1.
3 is going to be... Dude, it's a tough one, man. For me, 3 is either Aquaman or Venom. But I'm going to choose Aquaman. Black Panther, and number 1 for me is Infinity War.
Obviously.
No, there's no need
man. After you chose the third one, it's quite obvious what the other 2 were going to be, man. It's so blatant. It's not even funny. Okay, I'll go for my 3. My number 3 has got to be Venom. No, actually, no. My number 3, I'd say probably Infinity War, because I still have hope for a brutal Thanos, although I'm waiting for my hopes to get dashed. Number 2, Venom. And number 1 is going to be Batman Ninja. So those are the 3 that I'm kind of looking forward to for next year. And
wait, hold on, hang about. Is Batman Ninja coming out in cinema?
No, but it's a feature film, man. Come on.
No, dude, you got a budget of 3 films.
Oh man, do I have to say one of these 3 films? Okay, give me 1 second. All right. the problem is I don't want to say two Marvels in this, man. That's going to destroy my credibility. It's going to destroy my credibility. Okay, so look, okay. So
just put Aquaman in there. Just put Aquaman.
Okay, so let's say Aquaman number 1, Venom number 2, and a tie between Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War for number 3, man.
You've only got a budget of 3, so you can watch half of each.
I'll watch half of each. Do you know what I'll do? I'll go watch Black Panther, and I'll come out halfway, and I'll say, do you know what? I really hated that film. I want my money back. And then I'll use that to go watch Infinity War. It's the only way, man. It's the only way. So yeah, a lot to look forward to next year, man. Shaker this year has been phenomenal for this guy, man, from flipping, the epic videos that he's been creating and stuff. Season 4 next year, or is it phase 4 next year that you're doing?
We'll change it to season 4.
I
keep changing it, so.
Yeah, season 4. We don't want to say, we don't want to talk about phases too much, man, because like Marvel is a phase that people will get over.
Yeah.
We don't want to be talking too much about that. But yeah, man, been an epic year. If you basically like general movies there as well, not just comic book stuff, make sure you check out Shaker's stuff, man. Check out Shaker on Film Gob on YouTube and Twitter. And guys, you can always contact us through the Facebook page, DC vs. Marvel podcast. Contact us on View from Cave on Twitter. And also you can email us on viewfromthecave@yahoo.com. Thanks for supporting us, guys. This is me and Ash checking out for 2017. We'll see you again in 2018. And Shaker will, I guess, see you on all the other formats, man. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys.